Hello everyone, I'm DonTheCrown, and today I want to go over another campaign guide for Overrealm season coming up here very soon, and this time it is for Erika 1, who is Torchlight's multi-striking maniac, a character that focuses on using melee attacks in the mechanic multi-strike, where basically you have the ability to cast additional attacks like so if you have multi-strike chance. And we're going to be using Berserking Blade for this. And the reason this character is so strong for multi-strike is because of the Wind Stalker trait here. Basically what this does is when you move, you get a stack of this Stalker buff. And this gives you additional damage during multi-strike for every stack of Stalker. And then your multi-strike count will not be interrupted during Stalker. And so normally, like if I was starting to multi-strike and I move in the middle of it, it just resets it back to 0, but then the Stalker buff basically helps hold that, which is pretty nice. And you basically start off with 3 Stalker stacks here, so it's a nice little multiplier for when you are multi-striking. Now, there is a whole written guide over here on heroic.gg. I'll put a link to that in the description because I'm not going to go through all of the details here. You can see all of the stuff here, including updated passive trees. The first thing I do want to talk about is that this is an attack build. So your weapon is going to be very important in the build. It's really important as you're going through and leveling, you're picking up gear and picking up weapons, especially just keep an eye on the item filter, that item feed that shows up right where I'm sitting basically. If you see an item that has a green up arrow and it's a weapon, go and open your inventory and look at it. Maybe it's going to be an upgrade for you, and so it will help out a lot if you're paying a lot of attention for that. We're really just looking for one-handed swords for the most part. So that's the primary weapon, because that's going to work with both Berserking Blade and Spiral Strike, our movement skill. Now, most of the gear that we're looking for is going to be coming off of the ground. So I'd highly recommend killing a lot of enemies when you're in the treasure trove. And also if you see weak elites as you're running through the campaign, to just stopping and just blasting them down real quick, because elites seem to drop a little bit more loot on average. And just keeping an eye out for those weapons. There are some items that come out of the treasure trove that are pretty important. You want to get Scarlet Decree gives you more damage. Desire of Survival definitely gives you a lot more survivability. And then the Boom Gloves, I think, is a pretty solid piece to kind of help you finish up the capstone of the campaign. Now, our final skill setup is going to look something like this, with Berserking Blade, Steamroll, Raging Slash, added physical damage, increased area. They got rid of the Hardened support this season, which kind of sucks. Kind of lowers our survivability down a little bit, but this will do a pretty good job of giving you some nice AoE and damage. Now, if you've never used Berserking Blade before, it is a steep strike skill. And what that means is that you can have different versions of the skill. It's kind of a chance which one you're going to get. You can kind of see these little short slashes, and then obviously the giant slash. The giant slash is the steep strike version. And as we just get more and more and more steep strike chance on our character, the more likely, I don't know, I actually know where this is on this, the more likely you are to be able to proc that big swing there. So steep strike chance right now, we're at 56%. And so that's why it's popping off that much. Now, as you actually hit enemies, you're going to get a stacking buff that will increase the area of your Berserking Blade, which just kind of gives you some nice AoE clear here as you're going through the campaign. Now, some people might switch off to Thunder Spike. I think Thunder Spike is also really good. It's definitely way better at single target than Berserking Blade, but I think that Berserking Blade is very good just for clearing monsters as you're running through the campaign, and as you are just just going through treasure troves and stuff. Now, one thing to note is that for passive trees, we are going to go here and we're going to first take Goddess of Hunting. Goddess of Hunting is going to give us Perception, which gives us Agility Blessings when we hit enemies, which increases our attack speed and, gives us damage and stuff. We're also taking Rushed, and Rushed requires us to move every 4 seconds, which is pretty useful for us because we need to move for a hero trait. So if you just if you're fighting a single target boss and you just Spiral Strike, whenever you see this thing about to run out, you will basically also be keeping your rushed up the entire time. We're going to take Blade Runner for our second tree. Blade Runner, I think, is just very strong right now. It has 2 things that are really great for us. Join Forces makes our offhand weapon not attack, and so it's just our main hand weapon attacking and does a lot more damage. And then on top of that, it has a node, I believe it's this one here on the new tree, where you basically put a percentage of your movement speed also benefits your attack speed. And this just seemingly gives you so much attack speed specifically for your movement skill. And it just allows you to zip through the campaign even faster. For the last tree, I'm going to recommend the Brave. I know this is like maybe a little bit of a different choice than from going Assassin, but I think the Brave is really strong early on for Erika 1. It gives you access to one of the strongest main talents, which is Static. This provides a staggering 48% additional damage while standing still, and only walking will break this buff. Now, if you're holding down right click and just like using your movement skill, you can get some attacks in between each little move here. Even if you're moving pretty fast here with this, you'll get like little slashes, and that can like potentially knock down some enemies and kill stuff. Now for this particular season, Overrealm, you're going to find these portals here, and these portals basically you can interact with them, enemies will pop out, and they might give good experience, they might give good loot. We're not really sure just yet. They might be incredibly dangerous. Lots of times the league mechanic can be incredibly rippy, so just keep an eye out for that. But one of the things that it can happen is that this can turn into a portal where you can kind of like go down or over into the Overrealm. And I don't know if I necessarily recommend interacting with that part of that mechanic while you're in the campaign. Maybe just try it out one time, and if it gives like incredible experience and rewards, maybe it's worth doing over farming treasure troves extra. But for the most part, this seems like it's just going to take up time and maybe not be super duper rewarding while in the campaign. So it's probably something you can just skip. Now, I'm not going to go through and give you the full like play-by-play for all of the steps here. We have a full step-by-step leveling guide for all of the stuff, including like what treasure troves and stuff unlock which things. And this is all going to be over there on the website. But hopefully this video helped you out a little bit. I know Erika 1 is one of the most popular characters, especially for early game. She's very, very strong, gets all the way up into Profound, I think, pretty easily. And this is a character that I've used before in the past to do like a solo self-found traveler runs for the events that they do. And I've had a good time with it. Hopefully this video helped you out. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and we'll see you soon.